From Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia, an afternoon matchup in the Atlantic Division of the USL Championship on ESPN Plus, presented by Loudoun County. It's Loudoun United and Miami FC alongside the Manchester United legend Gary Bailey. I'm Sean St. Jacques. Happy to have you with us as a chance for Miami, Gary, to punch their ticket to the postseason. A win, and they're in.
Yeah, a win and they're in, but I think they are assuming that given the massive gap between them and Charleston Battery. What they're looking to do, obviously, is finish second and get that home game in the playoffs. And look how tight it is with Pittsburgh level and Charlotte just 1 point ahead of them.
Pittsburgh and Miami can confirm playoff spots today. Charlotte can as well if a draw happens in another match. Today, of course, Miami this season against Loudoun have had their way with them. They've scored 12, Gary, only conceded 3 and 9 points out of 9.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful time for them. Ariel Martinez, they're scoring, and in fact the last match was a 6-1. But have a look, here he is again, just setting it up. The maestro just playing behind the front players. Such a classy player, Martinez, and so much ability and knowledge. And this was the last match, which was a 6-1 win, and they just ran right in the end. Billy Forbes tucking that one in, and we would expect Miami to get another 3 points here today.
We'll see if they can make it 4 out of 4. Cristiano Francois has done really well against Loudoun as well. A third of his goals this season out of 9 have come against them, and he's just been phenomenal for a really deep attack under coach Paul Dalglish.
Yeah, powerful player, lots of skill. Besides the 9 goals, 4 assists, and at age 28, the Haitian international's at the peak of his form, and he's got so many good players around him that it's very difficult to stop Miami FC.
And on the other side of things for Loudoun, Theodore Koudipietro, 6 goals this season, been one of the bright spots for Ryan Martin's side.
He certainly has, and he scored the only goal against Miami FC 2 weeks ago when they lost 6-1. A beautifully crafted goal, great skills, close control. He scored 6 goals this season. He really has been a star for Loudoun United.
We'll see if he can continue that today. Of course, he's in the Loudoun starting lineup, brought to you by Loudoun, Virginia Economic Development. This is how Ryan Martin lines it up. Looks a little bit like a Christmas tree. We'll see if Loudoun gets a gift today against Miami.
It does. Koudipietro, you mentioned him just playing behind Hopkins, who's quite an exciting young player at 17 years of age up front. 3 changes from the team that got beat 5-1 by Charlotte. In come Nicky Downs, Landry Hosu, and Darluise Paz. Out go Alex Saravia, Michael Gamble, and Gio Montes de Oca.
And on the other side of things, Paul Dalglish makes a host of changes as well, but it's still a really deep lineup. Speedy Williams, of course, the most notable, out on international duty.
Yeah, 5 changes from the team that beat Pittsburgh 3-2. That's the depth that Miami FC have. In come Othello Bar, Richard Ballard at right back, Baggio in defense, Junior Palacios in midfield, and De Silva up front. And even with 5 changes, it's one hell of a side.
Miami, a chance to confirm a playoff spot. Loudoun trying to trip them up in Virginia. It's Loudoun United, it's Miami FC, and the kickoff is next.
Download the new Loudoun United app to stay up to date during the 2021 season. Receive team news, roster updates, ticket specials, contests, and more delivered directly to your device.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
If you were injured tomorrow, the ER may not be your best option. At Ortho Virginia, we can treat urgent orthopedic injuries without an appointment and diagnose non-urgent injuries virtually through video visits. Take the first step toward recovery, because stronger starts here.
Back here at Segra Field, Champs St. Jacques, Gary Bailey here with you. Loudoun in their home whites with the white, the red sash, and Miami in those slick blues with the orange trim. Getting set to kick off here in Virginia as Matthew Franz, our center referee, moments away here from blowing the whistle. Loudoun, of course, just trying to trip up Miami in their pursuit of a playoff spot. Miami would confirm a spot in the USL Championship playoffs with a win, and of course they're chasing that second seed in the Atlantic Division as well, along with Pittsburgh, who could clinch today as well, and Charlotte Independence. Loudoun kick us off, and we're underway in this Atlantic Division tilt here on an afternoon, overcast skies in Leesburg, Virginia. Loudoun coming off a 5-1 defeat last time out, about a week ago, against Charlotte. And Miami with that miraculous comeback at home against Pittsburgh last time out to win it, late on by 3-2. Loudoun on the attack. It was Ba defensively who tried to get a foot in there. He did just enough to impede the progress. Now Baggio trying to hold off two Loudoun defenders, and he wins a free kick deep in his own half.
And Sean, that's one of the big things to focus on this evening if you're a Miami fan, is how Baggio does in defense. When we had a chat with Paul Dalglish, he said he was worried that if Chapman Page or Paco Craig were injured, who would be his centre back? So he's giving Baggio a tryout, and Othello Bar playing as well in defense. And a big chance for the number 14 Baggio there to prove that he can be a useful starter as a central defender if there's injuries as they go into the playoffs.
Miami, Pittsburgh, and Charlotte are vying for that second seed. Of course, Tampa just about have the division wrapped up. And they're chasing, of course, top seed throughout the entire USL Championship playoffs.
And that is vital. You mentioned that, the second spot being at home in the playoffs, but it's absolutely crucial, because if not, you could end up, if you end up fourth in this division, you could be away at Lou City at Lynn Family Stadium. Never easy. So Pittsburgh want to avoid that. So do Charlotte, and so do Miami FC. But a win, this is a game in hand for Miami FC. If they win it, they're 2 points clear of Charlotte, and I think 3 of Pittsburgh. And they've got Pittsburgh at home next. So a crucial game, a game in which they have to be businesslike, Miami. Get the job done, get the points in the bag, get back and prepare for the arrival of Pittsburgh in the next game.
Of course, Charlotte put a little bit of pressure on them yesterday, coming from behind to beat Red Bulls 2 by 2-1. Then a big one later on tonight, Pittsburgh hosting Tampa at Highmark Stadium. That one has a lot of implications for both teams. Then, like you said, Gary, these two, Miami and Pittsburgh, meaning those two, meet again. So that's going to be a crucial match as well, as far as who will get home field in the first round. Loudoun over the top. Offside flag is up on this near side. And that's going to neutralize that Loudoun attack. Good ball forward here for Cristiano Francois to get on the end of here. Chance for Miami, and a good save at the back. Jermaine Forda was there. That's what Miami can do so quickly. Just a simple ball over the top, and Francois nearly got his goal total into double figures.
You look at Jermaine Forda, the last 2 matches he's played, he's conceded 11 goals, 6 against Miami 2 weeks ago and 5 against Charlotte, and yet in both those games he played well. Not easy for the Englishman in goals, and he's going to have, you would think, another busy day, another vital day today as he tries to keep only his 3rd clean sheet of the season.
Switch of fields from Cudi Pietro. Paul Dalglish talked to us about how well Loudoun can be when they're on the ball. We're starting to see some signs of that here with Cudi Pietro just gliding through a couple of defenders. And the cross comes in, overhead attempt is blocked in the center of the penalty area. Still not dealt with. Samake kept that alive on the far side initially. Paz in traffic loses it. Now Pierre Da Silva for Miami. And he stood up and wins a free kick. And then Paz, I think for dissent, is booked. Didn't think the referee was going to go to his book there, but I think Paz had a few choice words for him and talked himself into a yellow.
Well, if he did, it's a silly yellow to give away so early in the game. Let's have a look here. As they're coming together, and it's not even Paz who makes the tackle, so you must be right. He must have said something, because he wasn't the person to give away the free kick.
It was actually Jeremy Garay who gave it away, and Paz is booked for dissent. Very unnecessary there early in the game. We're not even 5 minutes in. And it's a very early yellow card for Loudoun to have to negotiate here.
It is, and we've said this in so many games before that, you know, if a second yellow card comes along, as opposed to if a second yellow card comes along, you always look back to the first one and said, really, you know, you got yourself in a risky situation. Now, any mistimed tackle, a flailing elbow by mistake, referee reads it as intentional, and you're off the pitch. You know, as a professional, you don't want to get cheap yellow cards, and maybe that's something for a young Louis Paz to learn it. Only 19 years of age, still a young professional.
And again, keeping the ball in the midfield. This is also the time of the year where you start looking across the division and see who you could possibly face. And you mentioned earlier, Gary, that, you know, Pittsburgh or Charlotte, and of course Miami could end up having to go to Lou City. Of course, Pittsburgh want to avoid that. They had to do that last year after losing the top spot in their group to Hartford, and they ended up paying the price. Those things where Miami, 10 of 14 of their wins have come at home. Similar record with Charlotte. Pittsburgh's a little bit more down the middle. 7 wins at home, 7 on the road, but home just tends to be where the heart is in the USL Championship playoffs. Good centering pass here for Loudoun to try and create something. Bit of a swing and a miss there. Hosu tried to cross it in.
This is good pressure from the home side, and you mentioned it, they are very good going forward. I don't think anyone has anything other to say about Loudoun United. They're lovely on the ball, great touches, score goals, give you problems.
Cudi Pietro with a searching ball into the penalty area, just headed away initially by Ballard, but another good ball comes in. Again, Miami have to deal with it centrally in the penalty area, and they do so.
Just to finish my thought, it's not in attack that it's a problem for Loudoun, it's in defense. And you almost can look at this match and say, I'm certain that Miami will score a goal, because Loudoun love to go forward and they don't do their defensive work as diligently as they possibly should. Can they score a goal, Loudoun? Absolutely, and they have. In fact, all 3 matches against Miami this season, they've scored 1 goal. So the chances are they could score. Will they concede? That's where the problem is for them. They don't concede 1. End up conceding 2, 3, 4, 5, and even 6 in the last few weeks.
Today's injury report is brought to you by Ortho Virginia, the official sports medicine partner of Loudoun United. Pretty good, clean bill of health for Loudoun. Today, Luca Antonelli is not in the 18 for Paul Dalglish's side. Of course, multiple guys, most notably Speedy Williams, are on international duty for World Cup qualifying this week.
And Josh Perez as well.
Yeah.
Both of them, you're right. And that's the strength and depth they have, is they don't, you know, you're always going to miss Speedy Williams because he's such a class player, but you can put players in Palacios or whoever it is, and they pretty much plug that gap. That is the strength of this Miami side.
Paul Dalglish has referenced not only Speedy Williams and Palacios, but also Boluak and Yodi and how well he's played since they brought him in during the off-season, as Francois marauds down this far side. As a player to aim at, streaking through the middle, it was Pierre De Silva, but he couldn't find his head, and it's out for a throw.
It's not a good cross from Cristiano Francois. He's such a good player, but I saw that De Silva made the run to the near post. I'm thinking, you've got to get close. His cross was a yard or more above De Silva's head. So a little moment where perhaps Cristiano will look back and go, could have done a little bit better there.
Loudoun are looking for their first win in almost 2 months. Last time they won was on August 18th. They beat Indy 11 by 4 goals to 1. They're ball over the top. Francois, the defenders stopped playing. Francois nearly took advantage. That was a dangerous game to be played there. Loudoun got away with one. They were looking for a handball. Referee never raised his flag, and Francois was nearly in behind.
It's always a threat, isn't there, from those front players. of Miami, and that's the strength of them. Ariel Martinez, we featured him in the opening, and what a brilliant player, can read the game so well. And again, Loudoun happy to throw bodies forward, but it's the defensive work that's going to come under test here today.
Miami have won 3 of their last 5 overall, unbeaten in 4 of their last 5. They had a really lengthy unbeaten run before that as well to get where they are in the table. Kind of leaves Charleston and Hartford in the dust. It was really a 6-team race for most of this season, but Hartford ran into poor form. Charleston got a little inconsistent during the meat of the season, and that's where Miami really went on a big-time unbeaten run. Find themselves very much alive for that second spot, of course. Arguably the favorites, though Charlotte and Pittsburgh will very much have something to say about that. Francois with a good ball across to Silva, was in the area, was a crucial intervention just outside the 6-yard box, and Loudoun can regain possession 10.5 minutes in.
I think you can see a difference between the two sides. When Loudoun get the ball in attack, everyone in Miami FC gets behind the ball, they close up the space and make it difficult for Loudoun. When Miami attack, they're getting into the box, they're getting balls whipped across the box, and you get the sense that anything could happen through their attacks. And that's a real difference between these two sides. Miami FC are going to be clinical because they're getting into dangerous positions.
Forward by Connor Sparrow, who's had a phenomenal season for Miami in goal. Lovely ball out to this near side. Jacob Green nearly got there, but Othello Ba picks it off for Miami. Lovely delicate touch forward here. Good ball across for Francois, and a crucial intervention. No, it's a penalty. Francois went down. There was contact in the end, in the opinion of the referee, and the penalty is given. Hosu went down to try and stop Francois. It was a lovely ball across from Lamar Walker after Bob put it on a plate for him, and Miami have a chance to break through.
We were just saying exactly that when Miami get in the box, they're dangerous. It's too easy. Look at this, a ball played in, and he's got all the time in the world there just to pick the pass. Walker, lovely ball in. Cristiano's there, it's a tackle. It's a tackle from behind, which is dangerous to do. Did he need to do that with his goalkeeper coming out there, Jermaine Forder? Just wondering if Hosu Landry could have just let his goalkeeper dive on the ball.
Francois for Miami, and he scores. Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and Cristiano Francois' 10th goal of the season has Miami off and running in Virginia.
Again, tough for Jermaine Forder, not much he can do there. Against a penalty, it goes the wrong way. But it's this incisiveness in the box that leads to the penalty, and well taken. Whenever you send the goalkeeper the opposite direction, you can chalk that down as a really good pen. But again, I'm looking at Landry, Hosu Landry, and just saying, did you need a tackle from behind when you know that inside the box is such a dangerous thing to do? You've got a good goalkeeper, leave it with him to deal with the one-on-one.
In the end, Francois dispatches the penalty that Landry conceded, and Miami are off on the right foot. Double figures now to lead Miami in goals for Cristiano Francois. Nearly scored already a couple of times, but he's able to put home the penalty, and Miami have the early lead. Loudoun looking for an immediate response. Cudi Pietro just trying to thread the needle, trying to find Jackson Hopkins. But Miami had it well covered, and here they come again. Ariel Martinez. They'll leave it for Ba.
The danger now is that having got the lead, Miami, they're probably a little bit more relaxed. They feel that they can go and get their 4th win in 4 against Loudoun, and as they start to dominate the game and possession, then they could really start to stretch this defense of Loudoun, and then you get back to that same situation of them conceding 3 or 4. I hope it doesn't happen. At home, they have a decent record, Loudoun, of 4 matches, 1 win. 1 draw and 2 losses. So it's for a team that's sitting at the bottom, that's not a bad record. So clearly at home, they're a much more difficult team to beat.
Two of their 3 wins this season have come here at Segra Field. Their wins are actually pretty impressive. They've beaten Pittsburgh this year. They've beaten New Mexico United as well. Of course, they took care of Indy 11, their last victory. So that's pretty impressive as far as the quality of their wins. Beat Pittsburgh early in the season by 2-1. Although you can argue Pittsburgh hadn't really hit their stride at that point of the season.
It almost seems as if Loudoun have run out of steam towards the end of the season, because you're right, early on they were really good. In the first game of the season, they lost only 2-1 at Miami. But, you know, recent results, lost 5-1 to Charlotte, drew 3-3 at New York Red Bulls 2, which is not bad, lost 6-1 Miami, 5-0 Pittsburgh, 5-0 against Charlotte. Those are all hammering. So you get the sense that because it's a young squad, maybe as the season's coming to an end, there's some tired legs, tired minds, and obviously there isn't much to play for because they can't make the playoffs, and you just wonder if that's been the reason for these big results.
Good ball into the middle, though, and the header is down. Oh, it was in, but the flag goes up. What a chance there for Loudoun to equalize. They put it into the back of the net. It was Hopkins who thought he'd equalized, but the offside flag denies Loudoun an immediate response.
I tell you something, this is a very, very good finish from young Jackson Hopkins. He heads it right back the other side. That's the exact place to head it back. Goalkeeper Connor Sparrow's got absolutely no chance. I'm thinking fantastic finish. Young man at just 17 years of age, and unlucky it's been chalked off through offside, but wow, that is some classy heading from young Jackson Hopkins.
That shows you what Loudoun can bring to the table in this game.
But you're talking about Miami and their good run, only 1 loss in the last 12, and that was away at Charlotte, which is no disgrace given how stacked Charlotte are at the moment. And they had a few chances in that match. I think one of the goals was an own goal from Palacios, trying to head back to his goalkeeper. So Miami are certainly one of the form teams. And interesting that Paul Dalglish was saying to us that they have the head-to-head against all the teams in their division above them, including Tampa Bay. So when it comes to playoffs, I don't think Miami will be scared if they end up meeting the likes of a Tampa Bay or a Charlotte in the sort of latter stages of the playoffs.
It's also impressive considering Charlotte have only lost once at home all season. Of course, that was to Red Bulls 2 when they reopened American Legion Memorial Stadium, but they played them extremely tough, and like you said, they've already got the upper hand over Charlotte, Pittsburgh, and Tampa as it stands in the head-to-head. Of course, Miami and Tampa play one more time. Tampa could even up the season series, but I think any team in this division would have taken that. If they were told at the beginning of the season you have an even series with Tampa, I think anyone would have taken that.
True.
Especially the form that Neil Collins' side is in at the moment, looking for a 10th straight win later today against Pittsburgh.
Wow. But Paul Dalglish says that they've been able to perform very well against Tampa. And you can see why, because this is a really stacked Miami FC side that's got stronger every game of the season, as Charlotte has in the last month or so. Charlotte also become an extremely stacked side, and it's all about timing. And if Miami FC keep on improving and get to the playoffs, you've got to fancy them as one of the top 4 or 5 teams to actually win the entire competition. That's how good this Miami FC squad is.
We were talking before the game, Gary, and we were kind of listing the teams we think could make the deep run, and we had to include almost every team from this Atlantic Division that's going to make the playoffs. It's that stacked.
Which is why you have to feel sorry for Hartford and Charleston Battery.
Yeah.
2 very good teams who in a different division might very well have made the playoffs. And yet, because this division has 4 of the top, I would say 8, let's make it 10. 4 of the top 10 teams in the USL. It's made it extremely difficult for Charleston Battery in particular. Hartford had a great start to the season. And I think Mike Anhauser at Charleston Battery has taken his team to the playoffs every season for the last 10 or 11. So it'll be the first time they miss out, should they go on to miss out, which looks very likely, but it hasn't been confirmed as yet.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, of course, if Charleston and Hartford, who are about to kick off in half an hour, if they draw today, that would actually allow all three of Pittsburgh, Miami, and Charlotte to clinch a playoff spot. Of course, the 2 seed still very much up for grabs, but the 4 teams from the Atlantic would all be confirmed if that game were to end in a draw because of Charlotte's win last night. Of course, if Miami wins, they're in. If Pittsburgh wins, they're in. It won't matter the result. The only team that would still have to confirm their spot if, let's say, Charleston or Hartford were to win is Charlotte Independence. And then an equalizer for Loudoun United. Maybe put the playoffs on hold just for now for Miami. Jacob Green equalizes with a stunning effort, and it's 1-1 with 20 minutes on the clock.
That's a great strike with his left foot. Powered right into the corner and gave Connor Sparrow absolutely no chance whatsoever. The coaching staff are congratulating the young man, just 18 years of age. You can see that youthful look on his face, but it's a happy youthful look. He's got the ball there. He plays it wide to Kudu Pietro, who once again gets in there, causes problems. He draws the blue shirts to him, and that opens up a little bit of space and time for Jacob Green to hit this. Have a look at it from behind, but what a beautiful strike, and it's right in the corner as well. And he turns with that huge smile on his face, and for the 4th game running, they have scored at least 1 goal against Miami FC, so they are true to form, Loudoun. Now the question is, can they defend and keep the situation level?
First goal for Loudoun this season for Jacob Green. And as it stands, Miami could not clinch a playoff spot today, unless, of course, that game between Charleston and Hartford were to end in a draw. So a little bit of a setback here for Paul Dalglish's Miami FC.
I still think, though, that for Miami FC, they've got so much firepower on that pitch to bounce back. They also have the likes of Billy Forbes on the bench that they can throw in. So they have ammunition if needed.
Yeah, Chris Cortez in the 18 as well, formerly of Phoenix Rising, 2016 to 2018. 33 years of age, but still has a lot of goal-scoring ability in him. They just signed him about a month ago. He played in the 2nd division in Mexico this past season. It just adds to the depth up front that Miami has at their disposal.
I'm just thinking for Ryan Martin, that was a wonderful finish, and credit to his ability to bring through the young talent. We saw Jackson Hopkins with that fantastic header goal that was disallowed, but there you got a 17-year-old Hopkins and 18-year-old Jacob Green, whose goal was counted. And I think that's huge credit to the coaching staff and to Ryan Martin at Loudoun United.
Francois could not keep that in. Goes back to Loudoun. Of course, we saw a great effort from Red Bulls, too. Had nothing to play for last night, giving Charlotte all they could handle. And we're seeing Loudoun do the same in these early stages against Miami. Loudoun on the attack again. Kudu Pietro. And into a few blue shirts, and then is able to find a teammate to keep possession. Landry switched fields, and it's out of play for a Miami throw. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Silva, tight quarters, able to win a throw just in front of that Loudoun bench with Ryan Martin barking orders out in front.
This is becoming a very important match for Miami FC. Going up 1-0, you felt, well, they're ahead. They should be able to build on this, but now they've got a battle on their hands. A draw is not a good result. Put some level with Charlotte, but they've got much tougher run-in than Charlotte have. And as we mentioned earlier, finishing second is vital for Paul Dalglish and Miami FC if they're to have a good chance of progressing in the playoffs. So this match might not seem important if people are watching, but for Miami FC, it is extremely important to get a win. For Ryan Martin there in picture, Important for his young stars to show what they've gotten already. We've seen two spectacular moments from Jackson Hopkins and the goal that does count, Jacob Green.
Paul Dalglish mentioned both of those things to us when we had a chat with him yesterday and said, listen, you know, we're not afraid of anybody. We feel like we can compete and beat anybody in the playoffs, but home field advantage in the playoffs certainly matters 100%.
Let's have a look at the defense of Miami FC. It's why they're such a good side. They defend in numbers. They get into that final third in a low block, close down space, make it very, very difficult to break them down. And they're good in attack. They're good in defense. And that's why they're one of the favorites to win the overall competition this year.
That was one of the knocks on Miami last year. Not consistent enough in really all fields, but most importantly defensively. And of course, they had playoff expectations last year. They didn't meet them.
Oh, trouble. It's Darluis Paz.
Well, we said it earlier. He picked up a yellow for dissent, and Paz for that challenge has been booked a second time, and Loudoun are down to 10 just like that.
That's a big lesson for Darluis Paz to learn. You didn't need to get the first yellow. It was a very cheap one. To be honest, you didn't even need to shove there because he had lost the ball already. So there were two silly yellows and the inexperience coming through, and now he's given his side. If it wasn't a mountain to climb anyway, playing Miami FC, down to 10 men, how difficult it's going to be. And I'm sure there'll be a long chat after the match with Ryan Martin explaining to the young man that you can't afford to do that in professional football.
Well, you said it, Gary, when he was booked. Early yellow cards can come back to haunt you in games, and Loudoun now are down to 10. Miami trying to make them immediately pay for it. It's headed out. Walker keeps it alive. Sent back into the mixer. Martinez out for Ba. Back in Yodi. Ba trying to find the angle for a cross. Just able to control it around a few Loudoun defenders. Loudoun player goes down and stays down for the moment. Ba in traffic, wins a throw.
And you expect Miami FC now just to throttle Loudoun, to control the ball, to keep possession, to get them running left and right, and to make it a very difficult time. Just going back to Darluis Paz, yes, the first yellow was silly, ridiculous, unprofessional. But so too was the second. You don't need, you're on a yellow, you're thinking to yourself, don't do anything, don't pull, don't shove. And to pull a player back, especially when that player's already lost possession and there's a defender on cover, I would suggest that both yellow cards are bad to give away. And as I say, I've no doubt Ryan Martin will sit down with the young man and take him through them and explain to him that you've got to manage what they say in-game management. You've got to manage yourself in the game, especially if you're already on a yellow.
And now we see how Loudoun will do. This is going to be a long stretch for them, playing down a man, and a huge opportunity for Miami to take advantage. Jacob Green found Cudi Pietro, who ends up giving it away, and Miami control at the back through Paco Craig, who's had a phenomenal season for Paul Dalglish's side. And a poor touch on that far side by Francois gives it back to Loudoun.
By the way, this is not the first time this has happened. Husso Landry got himself sent off against Charlotte about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they were down to 10 men, got beat 5-0. And it was a similar discussion on that day because he got 2 yellows in the first half and then his team were on the back foot. So probably Ryan Martin's already had this discussion with the group, and now he's going to have it again. But it's all part of developing young players.
Of course, the earliness of it makes it hit that much harder, especially after they just equalized. Loudoun 6 minutes before that second yellow was administered. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of this the rest of the half, with Miami pressing to retake the lead. Martinez. Not quite able to find a teammate, or at least find space in front of him. Akin Yodi picks it up. Now Othello Ba. Baggio back for Craig. Craig just trying to spread it out wide for Francois. Francois did well initially, and then a free kick allows Miami to set themselves up for a set piece as Richard Ballard wins the free kick. Thought about taking it quickly, and they'll play it short. Francois. Miscommunication with Ballard.
It's bad play there because Paco Craig had gone, and you can see Paco Craig sprinting to get back in that centre-back position. And when you've got your centre-backs going forward for a cross, you've got to get the cross in there. Otherwise, you leave yourself vulnerable to that counter-attack. So Cristiano Francois there not quite reading the situation and putting the cross in as required.
Miami opened the scoring in the 13th minute. Landry conceded a penalty that was dispatched by Cristiano Francois for his 10th goal of the season. And then a lovely strike. The left boot of Jacob Green, his first with Loudoun this season, equalized. Looks like that foul's going to lead to another yellow, this time for Bolu Akinyodi, who sees his name taken.
Referee saying, we're not going to argue. If you keep arguing with me, I'll give you a yellow card. And he was just having that discussion with Junior Palacios. But now, as mentioned, Akinyodi has to change his mindset and think, okay, I'm on a yellow. From now on, I'll leave the tackling to Palacios, and I'll have to be a little bit more clever about when I intercept the ball and how I do it.
1 goal apiece, 32nd minute here in Virginia. Loudoun, of course, playing with 10 men. Loudoun, as you said earlier, Gary, had that Hopkins goal disallowed. It was a great header. A lovely cross from Hosu. It was disallowed due to offside. Is Loudoun just able to keep that in, but it's Miami who are in possession. And then De Silva brought down from behind. And Hosu is also going to be booked for that challenge.
I just mentioned he got a double yellow 3-4 games ago against Charlotte at home. He's got to be careful again. He's got to change his mentality. He's one of the hard men in midfield, as is Akinyode. And the moment you're on a yellow, you can't continue to be that hard defensive player. You've got to then back off a little bit and be more of an interceptor of the ball. Otherwise, you risk the second yellow. And clearly, Matthew France is not standing on ceremony here. He's not going to take a lenient view. He says, if you're going to tackle like that, you go straight into the book, and fair enough.
Sent forward by Junior Palacios, and this could be an opportunity for Miami. Martinez through the middle, and a crucial tackle at the back.
That was Timmy Mell who got that interception, I think. It was, you're 100% right, it was crucial. That was a tap in into the back of the net. It seems like we have an injury at the same time, but again, that incisiveness of Miami as they cut into the box, they've got that pace, whip the ball across the face of the box, and fantastic defending from their captain, Timmy Mell.
Yeah, it was Mell with the last-ditch effort to keep it out. Samake, I believe, is the player who is being attended to here for Loudoun. Boy, it's been a roller coaster first half for Loudoun United. Could have scored one, ruled out for offside. They score another through Green. They've had a player sent off, and now an injury potentially here that's being looked at.
We can see young Jacob Green in shot there, the number 33, and what a beautiful strike with his left foot. Right in the corner as well. It gave Connor Sparrow no chance whatsoever. And that's the way to drive a ball with pace and accuracy, which he did brilliantly. And by the way, Kuda Pietro next to him, his role in getting into the box and drawing the blue shirts, who would have been warned about him. And in fact, Paul Dalglish, in our conversation with him, saying Kuda Pietro is one of the players that we really need to focus on. He's been very impressed with him. And he drew the defenders in, which gave Jacob Green a little bit of space in which to drill that ball past Connor Sparrow.
The other player that Paul Dalglish was worried about is, of course, Darluis Paz, but he doesn't have to worry about him anymore because he's been sent off for 2 early yellow cards, one for dissent and the other for a tackle, really a pullback of the shirt of Cristiano Francois. Play continues after the injury, and looks like Samake is good to continue, which is nice to see.
It is. Samake had a lovely goal against New York Red Bulls in that 3-3 draw, and he spoke to Ryan Martin at the time, and he was very excited about Samake and his ability and the fact that he could go up to the first team at some stage.
Walker finding Francois. Didn't quite pick out a pass as Samake had it covered. Second Yodi. And Baggio initially, now Ba. Ball with some space. Searching ball for Walker, bit of a miss kick. Hopkins back defensively. Now Cudi Pietro tries to spring forward a counterattack. Lovely ball out wide, just to spread the field, finding Michael Downs. Green, the goal scorer. Skarai initially, and Loudoun with 10, still doing what they do best.
It's more difficult now to get the ball forward because without Paz there, you've got less players in front of you to pass to, so the ball keeps coming back all the way back to the keeper because now you're short of that extra striker, and that's it's going to be a challenge for Loudoun for the rest of this match.
Offside flag is up against Hopkins. It allows Miami to regain possession. Palacios. Francois a little fortunate. Able to find De Silva. De Silva trying to thread the needle, and it was covered. And in the end, Miami will settle for a throw.
You would think that towards the end of this game, there'll be some tired Loudoun legs because Miami's going to make them work and keep knocking the ball around as they are doing right now. And you see, you've got to move all those red and white shirts across the field. Whereas for Miami, they're not doing as much of the running. And what happens is the last 15 minutes, you would expect Miami to have total control of this match. And if they are needing to score, that's probably when they will be able to score.
Baggio. Miami being more patient with Loudoun having to sit back with just 10 on the pitch. Palacios, who's playing for Speedy Williams today, at least in the starting lineup for him. Martinez tried to find Francois, some pressure on Samake. But Samake handles it very nicely.
There's a high press coming here from these blue shirts here, forces Jermaine forward into a very quick clearance and then possession lost.
Good control by De Silva, and he wins a free kick in a dangerous position. Miami not going to waste any time. They take it quickly. Lovely little touch forward, but then I think a foul here is going to alleviate some of the pressure. Ballard did well initially, but then lost control and concedes the free kick.
See, leaving a lot of blue shirts up there. Ballard himself is going back to that right back position, but the last glance we had, there were four blue shirts just to make it difficult to play out that high press that leads to lost ball.
A little bit of a stumble there, but Baggio recovers. Now Paco Craig.
He's done well so far, Badger. We mentioned that he's being tested in that centre-back position. He's had a few moments. He seems to have dealt with them.
Well, Walker was able to slither his way into the penalty area, but then conceded it at the vital moment. Ba wins it back for De Silva. Pierre De Silva into the penalty area. And it's a goal kick. Good defending to recover on this near side. It needed to be good from Timothy Mell, and it was.
Again, Jermaine Forder is he's been very busy this year. I think he's in the top 5 in the number of saves made, which is not always a good thing, because it does suggest that your defenders are not keeping the ball away from you. But having said that, the goalkeeper himself has impressed on many an occasion. Problem is, as a keeper, you look at your goals against record, and if it doesn't look good, it's not what goalkeepers want. You want the clean sheets. That's what you want to show as your record. Not conceding 11 goals in his last 2 appearances, which is what has happened for Jermaine Forder. A 6-1 defeat and a 5-0, and again, nothing much the keeper can do in those situations.
40th minute, 1 goal apiece between Miami and Loudoun. Francois trying to find Ballard, who just couldn't quite get to that, and Loudoun regained possession. Yeah, Forda does have 78 saves coming into the day, Gary. That is top 5, like you said, in the USL Championship. But Loudoun, I believe, are joint worst in the league with clean sheets, just the pair this season.
And it's interesting, Connor Sparrow, you would think as a Miami FC goalkeeper would have had a ton more clean sheets, but he hasn't. He's only got 4 in 26 appearances, which is a little bit concerning in terms of defensive strength. And Miami have conceded 34 goals, Tampa 19. So if there is, and we're being very critical about Miami FC here, but as you go into playoffs where maybe a 1-0 win is all you need, that's where the Tampa Bay Rowdies are very impressive, and Phoenix Rising, is they don't concede many goals, whereas both Charlotte and Miami and even Pittsburgh have conceded around about 34 goals in their matches so far.
Walker from Ba. Walker surrounded by 3 Loudoun players and wins a free kick.
He's on a yellow card, Landry. Be very, very careful. As I say, as a defensive midfielder, once you're on a yellow card, it's very difficult to do your job, because your job is to stop people, block them, get in the way. So it has hampered him, as it's no doubt hampering Akinyodi on the other side for Miami.
And take your pick for Miami on this set piece. 3 really good options. Walker, De Silva, and Martinez all standing over it. Short option as well off to the right. Junior Palacios is waiting in case they want to change the angle. 43rd minute of this first half with the score level at 1 apiece. Walker looks poised, took a good shot at it. It had good shape, but the accuracy not nearly good enough to beat Forda, who was well positioned.
Yeah, exactly that. He's in the right place, gets his body behind the ball, doesn't quite hold it at the first attempt, so just knocks it to the ground to grab it again. If you're going to beat him there, you have to get wider him and aim for the top corners, which is a lot easier said than done. And the likes of Lamar Walker struggles to do it, then you know it's not an easy skill. Sometimes we watch Messi stick it in the top corner time and time again and think it's a straightforward thing, but trust me, he's an absolute outlier when it comes to being accurate from 25 yards. You've got to hit that ball hard as well. It's one thing aiming for a top corner, you've then got to whip it in so the goalkeeper hasn't got time to get across.
Yeah, there's only a few players, at least in my head, that come to mind and that's on the planet, that can do that consistently. Messi's one of them. Ronaldo comes to mind. Ballard. De Silva! Took a nick on the way through, and Miami have a corner.
That was a good strike, had lots of power behind it. It was absolutely flying towards Jermaine Forder's goal. And that deflection might have been just enough to get it over the crossbar. But again, you get the sense that Miami just feel that this match it's in their control. They've got the extra player. They've had the chances. They just feel that something will eventually come, even if they have to wait to the second half.
De Silva, who nearly hit the target with his deflected strike, will take this corner for Miami. To the near post it goes. I think it was Akinyoti who got a touch, wasn't able to direct it on goal. Downs trying to lead it the other way for Loudoun, but he ends up conceding possession. Paul Dalglish did mention that he gains inspiration from the likes of those peak Messi Barcelona teams from the early to mid 2000s. Of course, because of his heritage, as it's an offside flag up against Miami. Gains plenty of inspiration from the current Liverpool side as well. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. In fact, when we asked who in Miami was in the most form, he said, well, let's talk about Mo Salah. He's playing pretty well for Liverpool.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Paul's father, Kenny, was one of the greatest players ever to play for Liverpool and manage the side as well. So huge history. But he pointed to that Barcelona side, as you mentioned. He said that's how he models his team. And now that he's been in Miami FC a while, he's now built this team the way he wants. He says he plays with strikers who move around a lot, so you don't know who to mark. And there's no big central striker who you go, right, I'll put a centre back on him. He says they're very fluid. Lamar Walker's up front, then Pierre de Silva's there. We're seeing Cristiano Francois on the right-hand side. He says a little bit like the days of Barcelona with Messi and Neymar, where they would move around and you couldn't find the players. And he said that sort of style of football he loves, and that's how he's got his current Miami FC side playing.
It's a heck of a team to model your side after. Of course, there's multiple Barcelona teams that you can gain inspiration from.
Possibly not the current Barcelona
I was just going to say,
side.
maybe not Ronald Koeman's, but maybe Luis Enrique and Pep Guardiola's.
I think as this half comes to a close, and great credit to Loudoun United for getting themselves back in the match from 1-0 down, for surviving with 10 players the last 15 minutes or so. It's been a really, really good effort. But as mentioned, I think they're going to tire themselves out, and towards the end of this match, you expect Miami FC to get well on top.
De Silva finding Ba. Miami looking to try to take a late lead at the end of this first half. Probably the last action here. Walker. Back in Yodi. Miami will have to hurry here if they want to get a shot off. Walker. Trying to do just that, but he's surrounded by Loudoun players, and they stand him up. Now, does Loudoun have one last opportunity here? Hopkins is brought down. That's a free kick.
You see Hopkins looking, and there's no Dar-Louise Paz. That's his problem. He's got no one up front to pass to.
And that is the last action of the first half. Well, Loudoun responded really well to adversity in that first half. They conceded a penalty in the 13th minute, allowing Cristiano Francois to open the scoring. And then Loudoun would equalize 7 minutes later. Lovely lovely shot from Jacob Green. Then they went down to 10, and they saw the half out, and it's 1-1 at the half. Loudoun trying to trip Miami up. Miami FC with a win would clinch a playoff spot, but there's work to do. Loudoun down to 10, but they've hung in it, and it's 1-1 at the half. Halftime is next in Virginia. Level pegging between Loudoun and Miami FC.
Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
In the heart of DC's wine country lies a retreat and conference center like no other, where award-winning chefs create signature dishes using local farms, where the wine is poured just miles from the vines and the beer is brewed right next door, where challenge courses invigorate and meeting rooms inspire, where the welcome starts at check-in and continues throughout your stay. Like Loudoun United, the National Conference Center builds world-class teams in the place we all call home. Saddle up.
Halftime in Virginia. Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you. One apiece between Loudoun and Miami. Let's take a look at some weekend highlights from the USL Championship, and any excuse to look at that crazy game from Lou City last night. Lou City and Sporting KC 2. This is a wild one, Gary. 8th minute, Paolo Del Piccolo opens the scoring for the hosts.
That's a good finish from Del Piccolo. He's scored so many in the last few weeks, and he's a really talented and clinical finisher.
Lou City would make it 2. This ends up being a penalty. Ownby in behind, brought down by the goalkeeper. Got there just ahead of him, and Cameron Lancaster would step up.
Who else? Cam Lancaster, scoring as he does, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, but the goals just kept coming. From this team here, the number of stunning goals in this match is amazing. Look at this one for a strike.
Jacob Davis, goalkeeper, got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. This was just at the end of the first half to give Sporting KC 2 a lifeline, and then Jacob Davis would equalize with 6 minutes left in the 90.
Another fantastic strike coming up. Have a look here, just set up on the edge of the box. Beautiful, hit this one and just tucks it under the goalkeeper. Perhaps question marks about the keeper.
And then a minute later, Jameel Roberts ends up getting in behind, and Sporting KC would take a 3-2 lead.
This is probably the best strike of the whole lot. Look at that, right in the top corner. Pick that one out the back of the net, goalkeeper.
But Lou City had other ideas. Oscar Jimenez would level things up with 2 minutes to go.
He finishes that well, Jimenez. He gets it high into the roof of the net so it can't get blocked. And then who else is going to pop up with a winner? No, don't tell me it's Cam Lancaster. Yes, it is.
Deep into injury time, Cameron Lancaster wins it. Lou City win it by 4-3. What a game. Maybe the game of the season in the USL Championship. And obviously Lou City chasing down the top seed in the Central Division. We'll take a quick break. News and notes and more from around the league is next.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey y'all, can we change up the chores?
Sorry, it's up to the wheel, man.
Oh yeah?
Hey, change the channel back.
Sorry, it's up to the wheel.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solik, the backhand! What a goal!
Luna, his shot into the back goal.
Kuramoto has won it for OKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
In the heart of DC's wine country lies a retreat and conference center like no other, where award-winning chefs create signature dishes using local farms, where the wine is poured just miles from the vines and the beer is brewed right next door, where challenge courses invigorate and meeting rooms inspire, where the welcome starts at check-in and continues throughout your stay. Like Loudoun United, the National Conference Center builds world-class teams in the place we all call home. Saddle up.
If you were injured tomorrow, the ER may not be your best option. At Ortho Virginia, we can treat urgent orthopedic injuries without an appointment and diagnose non-urgent injuries virtually through video visits. Take the first step toward recovery, because stronger starts here.
Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you. One apiece between Loudoun and Miami. We'll get you to the second half in just a few moments, but let's take a look at news and notes first from around the USL Championship. Big news out of League One this past week with Lexington adding their name in for 2023 in USL League One as that continues to expand as well. In the playoff picture, Gary, we've been talking about it. So many things can still happen down the stretch in every division, and Memphis 901's a big part of that with their Central Division race. They're really good at the moment. Lauren Kisiadu has been phenomenal. Ben Pierman's side look like the favorites to potentially snag that 4 seed.
They do, and they've got games in hand over the likes of OKC Energy, so looking great at the moment are Memphis 901. Any problem is if they finish 4th, they're going to have to travel to Tampa Bay Rowdies. Good luck with that.
Kisiadu is our player of the week this week, presented by Clear Audio. And a Samake in there for Loudoun United, and Miami in there with McFarland, who's on the bench today but has had a really good week.
Yeah, delighted to see Samake in there, especially with that goal he scored against New York Red Bulls. Not often they get mentioned, Loudoun, so congrats to Samake.
Now let's take a look at the live table in the Atlantic Division at the moment. Just a point for Miami and a point for Loudoun. That would open up the door for Charlotte and Pittsburgh, who play later today, the latter of those two against Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Yeah, not good enough for Miami FC. This draw has to become a win for them. They've got to get a 2-point lead over Charlotte to have a slightly easier run-in. Of course, Miami then hosts Pittsburgh next game, so it's all extremely tight in that battle for that second spot.
We'll take another break when we come back. First half highlights, first half stats, and the second half kick between Loudoun and Miami here in Virginia.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you. One apiece. Loudoun playing with just 10 in the second half. And Miami, of course, can punch a ticket to the postseason. Let's take a look at the first half highlights brought to you by Segra. It was a wild first half, I think, to say the least, between these two. 13th minute, Francois is able to dispatch a penalty after Miami gained the advantage. It was a poor challenge in the end at the back by Hosu. And then Cristiano Francois would step up, Gary.
Yeah, just wondering why Hosu has to make that challenge there, but good finish, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, Francois. And that's a lead for Miami, but to be fair, Loudoun came back in style.
It was Francois' 10th goal of the season, and then Jacob Green would equalize.
That's a great strike. Said it at the time. He's hit that perfectly. Pietro pulls in all the blue shirts, gives a little bit of time for Jacob Green. So when the ball comes, he can set it up on his left foot. Strikes that brilliantly. The coaching staff give him a hug as well, and it's well deserved.
But then this moment from Paz, he'd already picked up a yellow card for dissent on a challenge that his teammate had made earlier. He'd pick up a second yellow for that, and Loudoun have been down to 10 ever since.
Yeah, he didn't argue. He knew it. It was a silly first yellow for Verbal. It's a silly second yellow, and he just left the pitch. And a lesson to be learned by the young man.
Miami had a couple more chances to take the lead, but weren't able to do so.
Timmy Mel with some fantastic defending at the heart of that Loudoun defense, and I guess they're going to be tested in the second half. Look at the shots. They're 4 for Miami, 3 of them on target. A possession, I wouldn't read too much into it because Miami sit in a low block when they defend, so that gives Loudoun possession. But in terms of efforts and making the goalkeeper work, certainly Jermaine Forder with a lot more to do than Connor Sparrow.
Worth mentioning as well, 3 offsides against Loudoun. One of them actually took a goal off the board from Jackson Hopkins in that first half. And of course, that was before Loudoun went down to 10 men as well. But Francois' effort canceled out by Jacob Greens. And that's where we stand. Loudoun down to 10 for the rest of this one. Of course, worth mentioning as well that Hosu is also on a yellow card. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Hosu Landry, that is, in this second half. And Oluwakinyodi as well on a yellow card for Miami at the start of half number 2. Again, just to reiterate, Miami with a win punched their ticket officially to the USL Championship playoffs. Of course, if they don't get a win in this game, they could still go through today to the postseason officially, but they would need Charleston to draw with Hartford. If Miami drop points, that will allow the winner of Charleston and Hartford mathematically to stay alive if one of them were able to win, and they're just underway at the moment in Charleston. We'll keep you up to date on how that game is going. They just kicked off between the Battery and Hartford. Of course, probably going to be too much for Harry Watling or Mike Anhauser's side to make up, but mathematically they would stay alive if one of them were able to win. And by the way, that's regardless, because if Miami were to win and Pittsburgh were to win, they'd go through, but Charlotte would not confirm a place if Charleston or Hartford were able to win. They have to draw for the field in the Atlantic, at least as far as who's in it, to be set. Matthew Franz was pretty busy in that first half. Handed out a few yellows, sent somebody off, and all of them were the right decision in that first half, and Loudoun, because of it, are down to 10 for the rest of this one. They handled it pretty well at the end of the first half. We'll see how much longer they can hold against the Miami team that's looking to clinch a playoff spot today in this Atlantic division. There was a change at the half, brought to you by Segra. Jace Clark came in, and Jackson Hopkins was withdrawn.
That's interesting. Jace Clark, a 16-year-old, and what an exciting talent he is, scored a goal against Charlotte, followed up on a shot by Robbie Damrot and stuck it in the back of the net. So to get a first pro goal at age 16, that's impressive.
Offside flag is up against Miami, who are attacking from left to right in this second half, and the attack dwindles for Paul Dalglish's side. One goal to Jace Clark's name this season. And we'll see how the youngster does against this very well-organized Miami back line. That's Cudi Pietro who's down holding his head. Looks like the medical team is going to be waved on to take a look at the Loudoun star.
Good to see him back on his feet.
Yeah.
You always worry when you see players holding their head for the concussion issues, but their star player, Cudi Pietro, who's done so well this season. He really has been a top talent.
One of his teammates did wave the medical team on. They thought better of it, I guess, after Cudi Pietro got back to his feet. Now Ballard is down briefly for Miami, but play continues. De Silva tried to thread the needle for Francois unsuccessfully. And Landry has it in possession for Loudoun.
I think Landry can remember that match 3 or 4 games ago against Charlotte when he got the double yellow, and now that he's on a yellow, hopefully he's learned from that and he won't lunge in or do anything silly. It is difficult when you're a defensive midfielder, but that's the in-game management that he has to apply for this half.
Green laid it off Ball in behind. Miami just about able to snuff it out. Good work by Baggio. He gives it away under traffic and pressure. Cudi Pietro, although that little pass that Cudi Pietro just to kind of create some space for Jeremy Garay, put Garay in an offside position.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the substitutions work in the second half. Surprised that Jace Clark is already on, because I'm just looking at the tired legs in midfield that are going to start occurring around about the 65th, 70th minute, and that's when Loudoun will need to make a whole ton of changes, I would guess. They've also got Giovanni Bolivar on the bench as a striker, only 19 years of age, but a good finisher. You wonder if they throw him on in an attempt to even try and win this match.
Flag is up against Miami as Walker made his run a little bit too early. Hesitated initially, the referee, but the center referee and him ended up being on the same page.
Talking of subs, Miami FC, as you mentioned in the first half, Billy Forbes is on the bench, 7 goals this season. Imagine bringing him on with his pace. What a problem that's going to give Loudoun, as they just managed to play through the high press here. And you've got Adonai Reed, who, by the way, scored against Loudoun when they beat them 6-1 2 weeks ago.
The ball in behind here for Cudi Pietro. He keeps on going, and it's side netting in the end. He did have one or two options to his right. I think one behind him as well. He opted to shoot, and the angle was so tight, he ends up hitting the side of the goal.
Little lunge from Baggio there, and if it had connected with Cudi Pietro's feet, that was would have been a penalty. And I'm just wondering if Paul Dalglish is looking at Baggio as an alternate centre-back in case of injuries, and thinking, well, that was a bit of a risky lunge.
You just saw on your screen, Loudoun down to 10, 2 yellows in the first half for Darluis Paz. So far, so good as far as playing with 10 men for Loudoun. And again, we are keeping an eye on it as it continues. It can wear down a team as the match moves on, especially with a team like Miami, who's not only the way they play, but a team that's very fit at the moment. He wins it back. Martinez did really well under some pressure to hold on to possession, and did so again. Third time of asking, he's forced back to Baggio. Francois, the target of this ball, over the top. Mel had it well covered. Great energy by Francois to make it tough on Loudoun's back line, but they do clear their lines, but only to give it back to Miami.
See, this is how it could go in the second half, is that it's all Miami on the ball and Loudoun can't play themselves out of their own half. And if that's the case, then the team in red or white are going to tire very, very quickly. And that's a big challenge, and possibly why you do need a striker up front to aim for. I'm very surprised that they made the changes they have at halftime, Loudoun.
Palacios ends up playing catch with Forda. Green, going to be a little bit careful there, putting his hands on Paco Craig as he went to get the throw in. Loudoun regained possession. Stambro initially in that midfield area, under control of it.
Look, it's just they really are pressurizing Loudoun now, Miami. Blue shirts are hunting them down, making it very difficult to play out, trying to make them play the long high ball, which Miami are winning virtually every occasion.
Lovely work by Samake to deal with Ballard. Switch of the field as well from Garay. It was Clark initially, now Cudi Pietro. Back for Jace Clark. Now Landry. Goal scorer, Green. What can Loudoun do with this spell of possession?
Start to wonder whether it is actually possible for Loudoun to pull off a real shock here today. Because you fancy when Miami went 1-0 up, it was only going to be one-way traffic. They got themselves back in at Loudoun. Then they get the sending off, and you still think they're in trouble.
Oh, brilliant from Cristiano Francois, and it's on a plate, and then a beautiful goal line clearance. Robert Dambro saves a goal for Loudoun. Francois did so well to get into the penalty area, beat his man. What a huge defensive stand for Loudoun at the last second, keeps it level.
Absolutely brilliant. That's a certain goal. That's going in the back of the net, no question whatsoever, until Robbie Damrock kicks it off the line. Brilliant run from Cristiano there, and I thought for a moment that it might end up in a penalty as Jermaine Forder came flying out, but the goalkeeper forcing Cristiano to pass the ball. And that's an incredible off-the-line clearance by Loudoun, but it just shows you the threat again. We were just saying at that moment that could there be a shock in here today, because you fancy Miami have all the guns to get through and create the chances, and that's probably how it'll keep going right to the end. It's going to take a great defensive effort by the team in red and white to get anything out of this match, but who knows? Looks like it is possible.
A goal has been scored in the Charleston-Hartford match. An own goal for Hartford. Charleston lead by a 1-0. Happened in the 2nd minute. Thomas Janjigian into his own net. Hartford trailing against Charleston. Now Francois in behind for Miami, and he wins a corner. Being told that Charleston have actually scored again, and they lead 2-0. And Daly, it's actually just happened. Daly scored in the 10th minute. They're now in the 11th.
Wow.
It's 2-0 to Charleston.
Well, it's been a tough run in the last couple of months for Hartford, no question about that. But looking at this game, the last couple of minutes, Miami just opening up a few gaps, all the excitement after the halftime pep talk by Ryan Martin beginning to wear off for Loudoun. This is where the hard work kicks in.
It's Loudoun, Virginia economic development corner. It had to be dealt with by Forda. And we'll switch sides for a corner at the opposite end.
I was looking at the stats at halftime. Besides the fact that Miami FC have a lot more shots on target, they also have a lot more dribbles, 14 dribbles to Loudoun's 5, suggesting that Miami have been getting into the box, have been taking players on, and that's their style, and that's how they get past you. They run at you, they dribble past you, and then they slot the ball in the back of the net. And let's see what they can do from this position.
Miami try from the other side now. It's whipped in with pace. The near post by De Silva. Miami will settle for a throw. Ba in behind. Trying to pick somebody out. Francois was the target. I think it was Dambro again, you know, who cut that out.
Brilliant defending, but possession lost straight back to Miami, who then construct another attacking move. So this is probably the sort of construct for the next half an hour. It's going to be Loudoun trying to catch Miami on the counter-attack.
Exactly what they tried to do here. Baggio, in the end, does really well and had it covered. It's given away, but Pietro was in an offside position, I think. Was not able to touch it, so Miami, regardless, regained possession.
Risky play out the back there from Miami, and it was a bit of a tackle. I assume he would have been offside, Pietro, but the tackle might have come up for Miami player last. It was maybe worth turning and having a shot.
Ballard, the target of this ball in behind. Green takes no chances. It's out for a throw. Again, the Charleston scoreline at the moment would mean that Miami would have to win to get in today, of course. And of course, if Charleston do go on to win, that means Charlotte cannot clinch this weekend. They'd have to wait and win in their next match. Pittsburgh would have to win as well to clinch. And also, the result holds, that would mean that Hartford is officially eliminated from playoff contention.
It's been a strange season for Hartford. Started it so well early on in the season, even possibly mid-season. They were still in the top 4 and looking good.
Now Loudoun looking good here on the counterattack, but what a challenge that was, so well timed by Robert Baggio, completely negating the attack.
Oh, that would have impressed Paul Dalglish if he's looking for a backup centre back. Anyone who can tackle and time their tackle that perfectly could be the right man for the job.
But Francois couldn't match the timing with his run in behind, and it's offside. The stoppage of play allow Loudoun to reset.
Seems like Paul Dalglish is getting a whole bunch of changes ready. He's seen enough. It's 2/3 of the match through, and it's 1-1. He must get a win here today if he's to get the second spot. So he's ringing the changes, and we said he's got a whole bunch of his regulars on the bench. Billy Forbes being amongst them, Chapman Page, players that would normally be in the starting 11. We might see some of them in a few minutes.
We'll see what ends up happening as far as changes are in the offing. We're told there's quite a few, and you can see a few of their heads poking up in the bottom left of your screen for a moment there. Looks like Reed could be one of them, number 21 in blue. Paul Dalglish, like you said, Gary, can't settle for a point here. He wants to keep pace with Charlotte and Pittsburgh. They have to win. Farland's going to come on as well. Reed also. Loudoun making a couple of changes as well. Looks like Bolivar's going to come on for Loudoun. Looks like Reed's going to come in for Martinez on the Miami side of things.
I think that's good management by Paul Dalglish. He sent a message to his team, right, I've given you 2/3 of the match. I'm now making changes, and I want these guys to come on with new energy, new vigor, and clinch this. And I think getting Landry off, who's on a yellow, is probably also a good thing as far as Loudoun are concerned. So some sensible managerial changes from both sides.
You see there, Nicky Downs out, Michael Gamble in for Loudoun. We have, I believe, 2 changes there. Miami made 3 of them. And he also brought on Callum Chapman Page along with Reed and Player of the Week members we mentioned at the half, McFarland as well. Flag goes up against Loudoun here. A little bit of pushing and shoving, some time wasting there from Giovanni Bolivar, who just came on.
Number 19, Landry, Ausu, and number 15, Nicky Downs, and entering the match, number 9, Giovanni Bolivar, and number 10, Michael.
So Gamble and Bolivar, Osu and Downs coming on and coming off respectively. See there, Martinez, he actually came off. Reed came on, brought to you by Segra. And now Francois off to the races for Miami. Tried to pick out the pass, not able to do so. See there, Ballard off, McFarland on for Miami as well. Probably a little give and go, but Palacios couldn't get on the end of it. And Miami will settle for a corner.
I'll have to see how this new energy impacts on the game, but you do get the sense that with all these subs that Miami FC have made, quality players coming on, experienced players. Adonijah Reed scored against Loudoun when they won 6-1 a couple of weeks ago. It just augurs well for Miami FC.
Reed's cross was dealt with. Well, Loudoun have a chance to counter here, but that pass is a little too far. Well, Sparrow had to be careful there. Ryan Martin with a bit of a fist pump there. He likes the pressure that Loudoun were able to put on Miami. On the counterattack, remember, Loudoun are down to 10 men. Again on the attack. Ba made the run in behind, but Loudoun again well disciplined. The Offside flag goes up. McFarland. Plenty of space. Does want to dash past one, runs into another, keeps possession. Trying to find Francois. Oh, and then he was nicked in the back of the head there. So he was awaiting another headed attempt. And wins a free kick for Miami in the process.
Baggio just moves the ball an extra yard forward as the referee turns his back.
Every inch you can get.
Yeah. But interesting to see the centre-back taking the free kick. It looks like he's going to bend it in towards Jermaine Forder, which is always a tricky one for a keeper.
Goes towards the back post. Paco Craig with a central header and had to be dealt with there. The substitute Bolivar able to hoof it away. This could be a chance for Loudoun on the counterattack. Good run from Cudi Pietro, and he's able to leave it for Samake. And it's poked out by McFarland in a corner for Loudoun, and Cudi Pietro stays down.
I don't know if Cudi Pietro landed awkwardly in his arm. It looks like he's holding his arm.
There's a booking, I think, in there as well. I think for Lamar Walker for his challenge on Cudi Pietro, I believe.
I tell you what, this is turning into a little scary match from Miami FC.
Just gonna say, time's running a little short here on Miami, coming down on 25 minutes to go.
6-1 2 weeks ago, and it looked like it was going to be another one of those when they went 1-0 up earlier in the game, but equalizer, and even with only 10 men, Loudoun are putting up a great fight here today.
They've been more than up to the challenge so far. Now Gamble at least thought he was going to size up that corner. Looks like they're going to switch him out. And Cudi Pietro is going to come over and take it. Loudoun down to 10 here. This Loudoun, Virginia economic development corner. Went to the back post. Chance to recycle it. It's going to be another free kick for Loudoun as Garay wins a set piece.
This is more. Can you hear me?
More for Miami to deal with here defensively.
Can you hear me? Thank you.
This is where they have to be professional, Miami. They can't start to panic and worry about not getting the win. Just keep it tight, defend. Don't upset the referee. Do all the professional things you need to do and just bank on the fact you have so many good striking options up front who are likely to get you a goal, including possibly another one coming on the pitch.
Yeah, it looks like Lamar Walker, who was just booked, is going to be swapped down. Also worth mentioning, forgot to say this earlier because there were so many changes. Giannis Luba came on as well for Pierre De Silva. So Miami actually made 4 changes during that barrage a few minutes ago. And now Chris Cortez is on for Lamar Walker. 33 years of age, played in the 2nd division in Mexico last season, and obviously known for his phenomenal 3 years with Phoenix Rising back in 2016 through 2018. Can he be a difference maker? Loudoun on the attack at the moment, though, and that was headed away. Another Segra change confirmed there. Walker out, Cortez in. Miami get the throw and a chance to get back on the front foot. Loudoun have been playing phenomenally with 10 men, it has to be said. They've been playing that way for almost 40 minutes now. Second yellow happened back in the 26th minute. Darloise Paz brought down Cristiano Francois. Since then, the scoreline remains unchanged. Of course, has to be said that remarkable goal line clearance as well from Dambro to deny Lamar Walker, who had it on a plate from Francois, who had danced his way through the Loudoun defense. That's been a big difference maker as well. And there's 22 minutes left of the 90. And Paul Dalglish has fired almost all of his bullets, besides, of course, Billy Forbes.
That was a fantastic goal line clearance from Robbie Damron. Absolutely brilliant, because that was going into the goal, no question about it. But I do feel they're going to have to do some similar defending in these last 20 minutes or so, because Miami FC will pile on the pressure, and they certainly have the players capable of doing that.
Francois dispossessed by Dambro again. Miami, though, able to win it back. McFarland battling for it with Gamble, and Gamble comes out the winner in that one. Miami got in the way, Palacios, so that'll be retaken.
Big shouts for yellow card. He stopped the free kick being taken quickly, so I think the benches are both getting involved now as the temperature heats in this match, and as Loudoun begin to sense that, hey, there could be a massive upset on here, up here tonight, or today rather.
Bit of an overcast fall day in Virginia, but the heat is definitely turning up, no questions about that. Corner for Miami FC. Reed will take it. It's in a really good ball, and another crucial header. Came out for Ba with a chance. Baggio! And it was blocked on the way through, and Miami will have a corner on the opposite end. Here comes that pressure that Loudoun's going to have to deal with for likely a good part of the last 20 minutes.
And they can score late goals, Miami. The last match against Pittsburgh, 90th minute winner. In the match against Loudoun, Reed got one in the 81st minute, so they will keep pushing right to the death.
Reed again. The near post handball appeal in there. Referee waves it away and points for a goal kick.
Now, this is those last 20 minutes I spoke about earlier on when you've got 10 men, you're doing the extra running. Miami was shuffling them from one side of the pitch to the other side at times. You're going to get tired legs. Yes, you've had some substitutes, but those who have played the full 70 minutes so far might just start to tire, and that's when the errors come in.
All over the top here. Sparrow's well off his line, and he got a chest to that before Loudoun could pull the trigger. Oh my goodness.
Did he have to come for that, Connor Sparrow? That was a massive risk.
Francois on the other end. Couldn't find Reed as it was touched through. And Loudoun escape on the other end.
It's like a boxing match where they're just slugging it out here from one end to the other. But Connor Sparrow took a big risk. Not so sure that he needed to be there. He had defenders dealing with it. And very fortunate he got his chest to the ball. Or maybe we should say it's good goalkeeping that he got his chest to the ball. But risky maneuver.
Manuel Neuer might have been proud of that. That was risky, though, no question about that. And that's a misplaced pass from Callum Chapman-Page, and now Loudoun are offside. That was another huge chance on the through ball. Great running behind by Bolivar, but the flag went up immediately against him. Ooh, and I think a yellow card in there. Might have been from Bolivar for dissent at the end of that. Well, he's arguing about offsides. He's talking to the wrong referee. He's been booked for his troubles.
I do tend to agree with the referee, Matthew France, if it is for chirping the referee, because a lot of the time the players can't see. They're looking at the ball and then they turn around and tell the referee's wrong. And you're like, really? I've got an assistant ref looking right down the line. Sometimes, of course, the player does look and can quite rightly say, no, the way I was seeing it, I wasn't offside. But 9 times out of 10, players just argue for the sake of arguing. So I understand referees just not putting up with any unnecessary verbal abuse.
Dispossessed again. Great defensive work by Loudoun at the back. Miami come again. This is Junior Palacios. Didn't quite find Reed. Loudoun regained possession. This is Gamble. Clark. And Clark wins a throw. Went down on 17 minutes to go. Can Loudoun pull off a shocker here? And they've been outscored by Miami 12-3. In the 3 previous meetings, all Miami wins. And even a draw here would be a massive blow potentially to Miami's chances of getting that number 2 seed.
And Paul Dalglish did say to us, complacency is our biggest problem. But to be fair, I don't think they've been complacent, Miami. I think they've put in a good shift. This is just Loudoun United playing really well on the day and playing the way that a lot of coaches saw them play earlier in the season and why they were always a tough team to play against. And the last few weeks have really struggled, Loudoun.
Francois! And that's the moment for Miami! Great ball in from Cristiano Francois, and Chris Cortez, of all people, in his return to the USL Championship, gives Miami the lead with 16 minutes to go and may very well punch their ticket to the postseason.
Well, it's been constant pressure, hasn't it, for the last 10 minutes or so, and you felt something had to give somewhere down the line, but Francois, head up, has a look, picks his spot. A little bit unmarked in the middle, Chris Cortez. You've got to look at the defenders and say, who's picking him up? But this is maybe where the tired legs and tired minds came in. He was allowed that free head, and he's not going to miss from 4 or 5 yards out. And how wonderful is that? To play his first match for Miami and stick one in the back of the net at a crucial time. And now maybe some of the Miami FC fans watching will start to breathe a sigh of relief. But what a fantastic defensive performance by Loudoun. And are they able to come back yet again?
Can they get an immediate response here? Oh, there was a drag back in there. It's a penalty. Oh, my goodness me. And a red card for Paco Craig. Oh, my. It's going to be 10v10 on the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity here. And Loudoun have a chance to level it up after it's now level with 10 apiece.
Wow, how quickly can a match turn? Just when Miami had done what they needed to do. Paco Craig, it didn't need to. The keeper was going to get there. Connor Sparrow had it under control. He was about to win the ball. Paco Craig did not need to reach out that hand. And as you say, it's given away a penalty and it's lost Miami FC a player. In a moment when they just took the lead, it's a chance for Loudoun to equalize. What a match we have here.
Theodore Ku Di Pietro, 6 goals this season for Loudoun. And a chance to peg Miami back again here. "14 minutes to go. It's now 10v10, by the way. 10 players apiece. Can Ku Di Pietro make it 2 goals apiece? Yes, he can! An immediate response from Loudoun. Miami pegged back again. And their chances of clinching have taken another hit today in Virginia. It's 2-2.
Well taken from Ku Di Pietro, sends the goalkeeper Connor Sparrow the wrong way, and that's how you want to take a penalty. But absolute fantastic credit to Loudoun United. A minute after conceding and going 2-1 down with just 10 men, they bounced straight back, lovely through ball, tempted Paco Craig into what is probably now not the right decision to have a tug, and ended up giving away both the penalty and getting sent off. Wow, what a game we have. And now, if Miami FC want to be seen as real contenders for the title this season, this is a big test for them in the last 13 minutes, if they can go ahead and get the lead yet again.
And remember now, it's 2 apiece and 10 men apiece now. Both teams, I should say, have had a player sent off. Of course, Paco Craig is so vital to this Miami team. How will Miami FC deal without him on the pitch? We will await to see. And there's still 12 and a half minutes left of the 90 plus stoppage time.
I think it's such a bad decision from Paco Craig. His goalkeeper, Connor Sparrow, was about to pounce on the ball. And sometimes you just have to let your goalkeeper deal with it. Very similar to the penalty in the first half when Jermaine Forder had the ball under control, I felt. And Josu Landry then goes and tackles from behind. You don't need to do that. And now not only do you give away a penalty, but of course you get the red card as well. Double jeopardy.
Loudoun now in the ascendancy. Clark trying to make his way through, and I think he fouled in the process of trying to win that ball back. And Miami, with 12 minutes to go, regained possession. Boy, what fight from Loudoun United in this game today. A lot of praise was on Red Bulls too for the way they pushed Charlotte last night, and Charlotte Independence were able to pass the test, coming back from 1-0 down to win by 2-1. Well, now it's Miami's turn. It's 10 apiece and 2 apiece.
Just think back to Miami's last match against Pittsburgh. There they were struggling as well, came back from 2-1 to level at 2-2 and eventually win it in the 90th minute. It doesn't scare Miami FC. They have the skills and the talent to get goals late on in games. It's just this Loudoun team are turning out to be a real tricky side. They're still attacking. Look at them. They believe they can win this and they're going for it.
And sure, having the man advantage taken away from Miami has given them more motivation to go after it. Jacob Green slow to get up here. He scored the first goal for Loudoun, and what a strike it was back in the 20th minute. And now he's getting stretched out here. You talked about the fitness earlier, Gary. This might be a sign that, oh, there's a little bit of extracurriculars going on with Callum Chapman-Page as well.
Yeah, I think it looks like it's actually a cramp in both legs in the way he landed. He didn't know which leg to grab initially. But yeah, he's put in a great shift. Wonderful goal. Got to go back to that left foot strike of his that beat Connor Sparrow. Absolutely brilliant. But now the problem is you've made most of the subs, most of the changes. I think there's still a couple left for Loudoun they can use.
It's still Charleston 2, Hartford 0 in South Carolina at the moment. This result, along with Charleston finishing that off, of course, in the 37th minute, will keep Charleston alive, at least for now, in the chase for the playoffs. But more importantly, as you mentioned at the top, Gary, any drop points for Miami would really hurt their chances at getting a home playoff game, which is of the highest importance for Paul Dalglish's side. And there's still time, though, to rectify that. Gamble. DiPietro, who's now got 7 goals this season for Loudoun after converting the penalty. Gamble again.
It's interesting, Jacob Green isn't back on the pitch. Normally you get waved on after an injury.
He's awaiting direction from the referee. There it is, right on cue.
Again, just wondering if he's got that cramp. Well, isn't it the right time to bring a sub on with fresh legs?
Loudoun only used 3 changes. They could use another if they wanted to. Miami again on the attack, but a poor touch from Francois gives away possession. Oh, wonderfully done from DiPietro initially, but then he gives it away to McFarlane. Great hustle from DiPietro, but he loses out on it. Othello Ba takes aim, took a deflection on the way through. Falls for Cristiano Francois. Francois! And a good save. Forda at his near post. Miami settled for a throw.
Well done, Jermaine Forda. Just blocked his near post as a goalkeeper should do. You just use your frame and make sure they can't squeeze it past you. But wonder if that's more cramp coming back to give issues. And we did say early on, if you're going to run around Loudoun with 10 men, you're going to get some tired legs in the last 10, 15 minutes. That's exactly how it's playing out here. But again, you've got subs on the bench, use them, I would think. So DiPietro is down now. Paul Dalglish just checking on what's happening. He must be a little bit tense. He needs this. He needs these points. He knows how good Charlotte are. And he knows that the next match against Pittsburgh at home, there's no guarantee of a win there. That might end up with a draw. So if he drops 2 points here, he could not only end up in third and lose the second place, could end up in fourth. And then you've got Lou City potentially away at Lynn Family Stadium in the playoffs. The last thing that Paul Dalglish will want.
It's actually the captain, Gary Timmy Mel.
All right.
Who is down at the moment here, getting stretched out. It really has been a heroic effort for Loudoun at the back since they've gone down to 10. The goal line clearance from Dambro. Dambro's been all over the place, it feels like. Mel's had some crucial challenges. Also, at the back, Samake has certainly played his part and then some. And of course, Jacob Green, not only scoring, but his work defensively has been crucial as Mel is going to be escorted to the sideline for now, it looks like. We'll wait to see what Ryan Martin decides to do with a couple of players dealing with some cramps.
Still a crucial 6 minutes or so to go because Miami will chuck everything at them now, and you know how good Miami are at scoring goals late on in games. As we mentioned, last 2 games they've scored after the 80th minute. They have the potential. What I'm surprised about is that Loudoun United bounce straight back. They're not scared to take on Miami and have a go at them. And you can never write off Loudoun going the other end of the pitch and scoring a winner.
Not sure many would have expected this coming into today. This one has turned into a dramatic one in Virginia. Another corner here for Miami. Mel's back on the pitch.
4 goals, 2 red cards,
couple of penalties.
A couple of penalties, some goal line clearances. It's had its all. It's had everything this match.
Feels like the playoffs. Miami certainly fighting for a spot. Can they clinch with a win? 1 point, though, on the day will not be enough. That, of course, unless Hartford can pull off a comeback in Charleston. There's still time. Of course, the goals coming from Francois and Cortez for Miami, Green and Kuti Pietro for Loudoun. And again, Paz was sent off for Loudoun in the 26th minute. Paco Craig was sent off just a few minutes ago, which led to the penalty for Kuti Pietro that he scored in the 77th. Looks like Loudoun will make a change here, and Jacob Green will leave us. What a performance from him, a Segra substitution. Scored the opening Loudoun goal and played an extremely big part in Loudoun's game today. Giovanni Montes Daoka, pardon me, he's going to come on. Montes Daoka, formerly of North Carolina Tar Heels.
He's played as a striker on a few occasions, Montes Daoka. So again, you just wonder whether Ryan Martin's not just going for the win here. He's not going to settle for the draw.
McFarlane searching ball in. Loudoun have it covered. Can Loudoun get a counterattack here? Reed did well to get there first, but a bad pass back. Loudoun are in behind. What a moment this would be. Loudoun walk it in, and it's 3-2. Oh my goodness. Bolivar scores. Loudoun lead for the first time tonight, and a massive blow for Miami's playoff seeding here potentially with 4 minutes to go.
Absolutely brilliant from Loudoun United. As we were saying, they wanted a counter-attack. They were brave enough. They weren't just hanging on for the draw. They were looking for the counter-attack opportunity. And Giovanni Bolivar pounces on this error in defense. What a bad error it is. Nothing that Connor Sparrow can do. He risks getting sent off if he tackles Bolivar, and Bolivar just walks it into the back of the net. But it wouldn't have happened if Loudoun United weren't intent on trying to win the game. And massive credit to the side to take on Miami FC, stare them in the face, and take the lead 3-2. But bad defensive error by Miami FC.
5th goal of the season for Bolivar. And Loudoun have a 3-2 lead with 3 minutes to go. What a game this has been. It's had everything. Miami back on the attack. We're told that Nicu Daly has scored again. It's Charleston 3, Hartford 0. So if this result holds, Miami's playoff positioning would take a huge hit, and their clinching of a playoff spot will have to wait.
The referee believes that Adonijah Reed has just kicked the ball away, I think, or was it for the, not quite sure, it's for the tackle or the clearance. Either way, another yellow card, and frustration for Miami. And Loudoun, give them credit again, they don't sit in the defense or sit back and defend. They go and attack Miami yet again, which is probably the best way to hold on to your lead, but such positive play from Ryan Martin's side.
Loudoun, by the way, now have scored as many goals in this match as they've scored in the previous 3 meetings combined against Miami this season.
Given some of the hammerings they have taken in recent weeks, this is an amazing turn-up for the books. I'm sure Charlotte and Pittsburgh are rubbing their hands going, wow, we did not see this coming, but we'll take it. Just means they have Charlotte now have a much better chance of finishing in second place, especially as Miami hosts Pittsburgh in the next game. So someone's going to lose points somewhere in that encounter.
Sliding ball in behind. Sparrow picks it up. Still time for Miami to salvage something, but not much. Remember, it's also 10 against 10 after 2 players, 1 from each side, were sent off throughout the match today. Haas and Craig, respectively, for Loudoun and Miami. And then this Miami attack rakes down as we enter the 90th minute.
Wow, if you'd have said to me Loudoun would be 3-2 up against this Miami side, I would have said, nah, come on, be serious. What a performance. Because this is a stacked team, and they brought some of their top players on second half, and Loudoun United have done what very few teams can do. They've attacked Miami FC. They've seen their vulnerability as if we attack them, we can expose them. We're not going to stop them from scoring. We just got to score more than them, and that's exactly what they've managed to do to this point in the game.
Just when you think you know everything about the USL Championship, this happens. And for the neutrals, it's the kind of chaos we're hoping to see throughout the rest of this regular season and, of course, in the playoffs. A bit of a collision there involving McFarlane and Samake. Referee does not blow his whistle. Play continues, and now we wait to see how much stoppage time there's going to be. We're told there's 6 minutes, and there is the confirmation of that. Still plenty of time for Miami to save themselves here.
Paul Dalglish running to get the ball to try and speed things along.
I think he saw that 6 go up and said, all right, let's get it going. Can Miami pull this out?
This is a very strong Miami FC. Yes, they're missing Speedy Williams, who's a massive player for them. They've chosen not to bring on Billy Forbes, but other than that, it's a stacked team. And for a large part of the game, they've been playing with an extra man, Miami FC.
They didn't take advantage of it. Will they pay for it in the end? Well, to be fair to Paul Dalglish, he warned us that Loudoun were going to have a lot of the ball. Of course, he couldn't foresee a man being sent off for them and all the chances they've had in this game with that. And of course, the Dambro clearance off the line becomes that much more significant, but he gave Loudoun their credit this week. He told us that they were not taking this lightly, Miami. They were up for the challenge, but Loudoun have matched that and then some today with all the adversity that they've gone through, and they're 5 minutes away from pulling off a shocker here.
The way it stands at the moment, Miami have dropped to 4th place. That 4th place that everyone's trying to avoid because it potentially means a Lou City playoff away at Lynn Family Stadium. And that currently sits with Miami FC now. They can beat Pittsburgh in the next match and move up to 3rd, but 2nd place is beginning to drift away. Charlotte now have it. Oh, here's trouble.
Oh, Bolivar through the middle again. Loudoun could seal it potentially here, but it's a huge challenge from Luba, and he concedes the corner, coming down on 4 minutes left of the 6 added on.
You just wonder what Loudoun could have achieved this season if they'd have been a little bit tighter in defense, because going forward they have been electric, they've been quick, they've been accurate, they've taken their chances when they've come. It's been in defense in the last 2 months in particular where things have really gone a bit pear-shaped. If they can defend well, this is a very exciting team that Ryan Martin has.
Montez Daoka played it short. Oh, it falls for a chance. Loudoun can seal it, but too much time taken in the middle of the penalty area, and the chance goes begging. Francois on the other end can't get there before Forda is able to corral it. Starting to rain here, as you could probably tell by our cameras here in Virginia. Can Miami find an equalizer? They'll be forced, I think, to take that again.
Yeah, there were two balls there virtually in play. Both Miami players had a ball in their hands. The referee says you can't do that. Been very strict, Matthew France, but I like that. He's controlled the game and he hasn't allowed too much dissent.
McFarlane trying to get it into the penalty area. Loudoun again can try and hit on the counter. Cudi Pietro ends up finding the foot of Connor Sparrow.
If this result stands, it means the match against Pittsburgh, Miami versus Pittsburgh, next game up is going to be a massive one for Miami FC.
Cudi Pietro, great ball out wide. Michael Gamble has Bolivar in the middle. It was just behind him. Still 2 minutes left for Miami. They win a free kick. It's going to be a yellow card, I believe, against Jace Clark. Still 2 minutes left for Miami. Callum Chapman-Page, of all people, I think, got ahead to that. And Forda corrals it. There's the confirmation of the yellow card against Clark for holding up the play. And there's a minute and a half left for Miami.
I'm just going back to that second goal that Miami scored. They always say you're vulnerable the first couple of minutes after you've scored. Just wonder if that's what Paul Dalglish is going to say to his players. Guys, you got yourself 2-1 up. You needed to be more disciplined. Straight away, within a minute, you've conceded a penalty and a red card. That's poor game management. And from 2-1 up, it's now ended up with them being 3-2 down, Miami. And that was the crucial moment. Straight after they scored that second goal, they should have wrapped it up, closed the game down, and they didn't do it, and they've paid the price.
Well, it's the roles being reversed slightly after Pittsburgh were 2-1 up in Miami, and Miami came back to win 3-2. Loudoun have turned the tables on them here today. Miami were 2-1 up. They were a man up. And they weren't exactly cruising, but we thought that was it. That could be the moment that Miami clinch a playoff spot, and Loudoun have said not so fast. And now with Charleston leading 3-1. There's another own goal, by the way. Mario Piggott into his own net for Charleston. Charleston can hold on. They'll mathematically stay alive. And that would mean that Charlotte and Miami will miss chances to clinch this weekend. Another ball in, headed away. Final seconds here in Virginia.
Good defending again, winning those. They've won so many high balls in defense. Loudoun has been super impressive. The two central defenders, brilliant.
Oh, one last chance potentially there in behind, and it just went out of the reach. I think two Miami players. It was Baggio and Cortez in behind. Neither of them could get a touch, and that might very well be that.
Just saying, Timmy Mellon, Robbie Damrod, absolutely brilliant in the center of that Loudoun defense this evening. And Jermaine Forda, having conceded 11 goals in his last two appearances, will be a lot happier with this match and the way his defense have played.
Sent away by Forda. McFarlane. And that's it! This is not hyperbole. A shocker in Virginia. Loudoun defeat Miami by 3-2. And Miami's chance at the number 2 seed take a massive blow after a heroic performance from Ryan Martin's Loudoun United.
Fantastic. Well done, Loudoun. Absolutely brilliant. Delighted to see these young men at last get a good result after some big beatings, and credit the way they've played today.
Save of the game here, brought to you by Segra. I mean, it had to be, right? This phenomenal goal line clearance from Robert Dambro. This was the chance for Miami to really assert themselves in this game. Walker denied on the doorstep, and that was part of the game really shifting in Loudoun's favor. And they remarkably went on to win by 3-2. Bolivar scoring in the 86th minute to win it. Loudoun's 4th victory of the season is a memorable one, and Miami's chances at hosting a playoff game in the first round take a massive blow. We'll take a break here, and we'll wrap things up. Loudoun shock Miami, and they win it by 3-2.
In the heart of DC's wine country lies a retreat and conference center like no other, where award-winning chefs create signature dishes using local farms, where the wine is poured just miles from the vines and the beer is brewed right next door, where challenge courses invigorate and meeting rooms inspire, where the welcome starts at check-in and continues throughout your stay. Like Loudoun United, the National Conference Center builds world-class teams in the place we all call home. Saddle up.
This is business today. Fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. At Segra, we'll help you navigate a complex future with state-of-the-art voice, internet, and data protection solutions. We know you have dreams, and we see your potential. Segra, freedom to grow.
Sean St. Jacques, Gary Bailey back here with you. Jermaine Forda celebrating with the fans here in Virginia as Loudoun beat Miami remarkably by 3-2. The National Conference Center provides you with the full-time highlights. Miami got off to the right start, Gary. Francois draws and scores a penalty.
Yep, Josu Landry maybe shouldn't have made that challenge. He pays the price, and good finish there from Cristiano Francois. And you got the sense then early on that it would be plain sailing for Miami, but it wasn't.
Jacob Green, 7 minutes later, probably the goal of the match, equalizes.
Beautiful strike with the left foot. Well done, Kudu Pietro, to run into the box, to draw the defenders. But what a lovely strike from young Jacob Green.
Then with the first big moment here, Paz, a second yellow, 26 minutes in, he gets sent off, and Loudoun played most of this game with just 10. 74th minute, a welcome back to the league for Chris Cortez.
Yeah, unmarked in the center of the box, and at that point, 2-1 up. And with the extra man, you're thinking it's all Miami FC. Loudoun United have cracked. They're going to go on and win this comfortably. And a minute later, they turn the match around with this.
Paco Craig dragging down Samake in the penalty area. It was a penalty and a straight red, and it was 10v10, and then Di Pietro made sure it was 2-2 as well.
Yeah, I think that's an error by Paco Craig, because he didn't need to pull. The goalkeeper had got there. Connor Sparrow was about to make the save, so not only does he give away the penalty and the goal, he gets himself sent off, and then another error, and they get punished for it. Nothing Connor Sparrow can do. And the ball gets walked into the back of the net by Giovanni Bolivar. What an incredible game and performance by Loudoun United.
His 5th goal of the season, and Bolivar's goal was a winning goal for Loudoun United as they won their 4th win of the season. Segra full-time match stats. I almost want to ignore it. What a game that was here between Loudoun and Miami, and just all the credit in the world to Ryan Martin's side to pull this shocker off.
Absolutely. You'll see a lot more shots on target second half for Loudoun than they got in the first half. But, you know, we've done a couple of matches where Loudoun have been beaten by 5 or 6, and in those matches you struggle to find the good things to say. I've got all the good things to say as you have about Loudoun. Brilliant attitude, goals, defending, just stunning all round. And I'm sure Charleston Battery will say thank you, guys, because it keeps them mathematically alive.
Very much so. They lead 3-1 against Hartford at the moment at the break. If that holds, Charleston's playoff hopes mathematically stay alive, but more importantly for that second place spot, that just gave Charlotte and Pittsburgh a massive boost to their hopes of hosting a playoff game in the USL Championship playoffs this season. Well, we certainly weren't expecting that. Miami had a chance to clinch a playoff spot today. Loudoun had other ideas. They'd been smashed 3 times by Miami earlier this season, but expect the unexpected in the USL Championship. For Gary Bailey and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Virginia. Loudoun 3, Miami 2. What's next in this USL Championship season?
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.